Supergirl test screening bombs. Quote unquote underwhelming. Yeah. What is this crap? Ugh. All right, early word from a recent Supergirl test screening suggests the film failed to generate strong enthusiasm, though reactions stopped short of calling it a complete miss. All right, see, there's some hope. Huh? Yeah. Huh? According to information shared by Cryptic HD Quality on X, the screening produced mixed feedback with noticeable highs and lows throughout the film. Yeah. There's Supergirl responding to her critics, The film reportedly runs around 2 hours and 5 minutes, and reactions described it as uneven. Some scenes were said to shine far more than others, resulting in a viewing experience that didn't fully come together. While the overall response wasn't a total disaster, it also wasn't strong enough to spark excitement, which is rarely a good sign this late in the process. Yeah, you think reshoots can, One consistent positive from the screening was Millie Alcock's performance. She is a good, I only really know her from House of the Dragon, but she was impressive. So, but it's just a matter of what do you give her to do. It sounds like she came across, pretty good for this test audience. So, reviewers reportedly praised her work as Kara Zor-El, with her acting standing out, even when individual scenes or story elements didn't land. So this could be another example of a talented actor or actress, in this case, wasted on subpar material. Yeah. Anyway, that lines up with earlier comments from DC Studios leadership, who have repeatedly highlighted Alcock as a major strength of the film. Yes, but she can't deliver it completely for you. You have to give her a good story. Did you? Meanwhile, here comes Momoa. Jason Momoa's Lobo is confirmed to appear in 2 fight sequences, but is not the main villain. Despite his presence, the primary antagonist was reportedly underwhelming, a criticism that came up repeatedly in feedback. Yeah. The odd thing is when they announced the actor, he kind of looked like the character in the comic book. He's just some guy with red hair and a beard. And they decided to put all this crap on his face. This just looks stupid. But I don't know. Maybe he's just not that great of an actor, Plus, he's got legal problems at the moment. But anyway, the lack of a strong villain appears to be one of the film's biggest weaknesses, and that's a huge problem, limiting the impact of the story's central conflict. Matthias Schoenaerts plays the villain, Krim of the Yellow Hills, whose look in the Supergirl trailer was drastically changed from the comics. It sure was. See, Supergirl's like, damn it! What's she gonna do, The test screenings are often used to fine-tune pacing and structure, but muted reactions at this stage raise concerns, especially given DC Studios' recent struggles. Yeah, Supergirl, thanks to the stumbling of Superman and the just disaster of Peacemaker Season 2, Supergirl is now put in the position of having to elevate the DCU franchise, and it's not going to be able to do it. So now, otherwise, if the Superman had been a smash hit and Peacemaker was even just okay, then she could be a movie that's just sort of all right. Everybody's saying, I liked Millie. She turned out to be pretty cool, and that sort of thing. The rest of it, I don't know. Momoa was cool. That would work. But now, so much more is riding on that cape, and sounds like they didn't really give her enough for this to step up to that position, So anyway, with Supergirl already facing online backlash, the studio may be under pressure to address story and tonal issues before release. Well, You went with, drunken TikTok girl. You thought that would really win it over. I mean, there's a lot of sadness to Supergirl's story. I mean, doomed planet of Krypton, and she witnessed it all. She knows she actually got to see it. Kal-El was an infant when he was rocketed out of there. And so there's a lot there that, there's some sense to that. In the comic book, yes, she's getting drunk at the opening of the story. That's not throughout the story. So maybe it's just that they think that's funny and tee-hee, and that's how they'll introduce. And the trailer is not really servicing the overall story well. This happens a lot. Sometimes really awful trailers can torpedo a pretty good movie. Other times, trailers look magnificent and look really cool and intriguing, like Last Jedi. But the movie it's promoting is absolute crap. And sometimes they're actually very accurate. The trailer's crap, the movie's crap. The trailer's good, the movie's good. Sometimes that happens, but it's a tough thing. And they went with, hey, it's really funny. The dog pisses on a picture of Superman in the Daily Planet. Supergirl's drunk and hungover. Giggle tee-hee, and she kicks ass. They thought that would be cool. So... yeah. James Gunn's Superman already landed flat with audience, which is a shame. Another David Corns, but he could play a good Superman. He tried. He can only do with what they give him, and I think we're seeing yet another Superman actor who was ready to go, wasted. That's what it looks like. Same with Cavill. Same with Brandon Routh. So, making Supergirl's mixed test screenings reactions harder to ignore because Superman fell flat, especially with Gunn's future at the DCU in question. Supergirl is currently scheduled to arrive in theaters on June 26, 2026. So, whoops, whoopsie. So it's just sort of, yeah, that's not good. Gee, what the hell? Well, it's not a great image of Lobo, but it looks like they got that right. But now it's like the whole thing, Lobo, and he's probably only in it for a couple of minutes, Yeah, and after all that, will the DCU survive long enough to get to the Lobo movie? Which is really the only movie that I could see James Gunn as being perfect to direct it. Not Superman. He's not directing Supergirl, but come on. That whole, it's Supergirl meets Guardians of the Galaxy. He's in charge. He's the boss of the whole thing, So, yeah. What you gonna do? Oh, well, maybe they'll figure it out, maybe.